Hi, and welcome to another one of my instructional videos for playing great electric blues guitar instrumentals. Today we're going to take a look at a tune by Earl Hooker called Frog Hop. Frog Hop is played in the key of E, and it's got a few chords, but mostly it's single string runs and solo type things. And it's a pretty simple tune to play, a lot of great ideas that you can borrow from this song to put into your own playing. Let's start out with the introduction. Let's get right into it. The introduction is a chord riff, and it goes like this. And the chord that I'm playing is a variation of an E7. I call it the Freddie King chord, or sometimes the Earl Hooker chord, because both of those guys used it. Freddie King used it in his famous instrumental Hideaway, that part during the stop time. Earl Hooker here is using it to kick off Frog Hop, and he's got his first finger on the 9th fret, and he's barring both the 1st and 2nd strings. His pinky is on the 12th fret of the 1st string, and his ring finger is on the 12th fret of the 4th string. And his 2nd finger is on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. So what you get is this. And so that first riff, he's just playing like that. And then to get into the tune, he starts out with a bass riff. We're playing in the key of E, so a lot of the riffs are going to be out of the first position E, up here or down here on the neck. So it goes like this. That's the first lick. And what he's doing, 2nd fret of the 5th string, open 4th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string. Now in a little bit he'll mix that up and play that differently, but to start out with it's just very straightforward. Then this lick is a typical electric blues type thing. He's got his first finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. And then he's going to slide it up, pick the 3rd string and then the 2nd string. Pick the two together, it's a double stop. Then the 2nd finger is going to slide back down to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then open 3rd string, and he winds up again on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So the whole tune so far. And then when he finishes that, he tosses in a quick E chord. And I play my E with my 2 fingers, my first finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and my 2nd finger getting both the 4th and 5th strings of the 2nd fret. And when he finishes this, he just does a quick upstroke, it sounds like, getting mostly the top 3, maybe 4 strings of that E chord. Now you could also do that just playing it open, but I'm pretty sure he's making the E shape. He's forming that chord up there. I don't, because the 3rd string, you don't hear it open in the tune. So that whole opening lick. Then he does it again, but the 2nd time through he does this with the bass. And then he does. So what I'm doing here, open 4th string, and then walking up from the 1st fret of the 4th string to the 2nd fret. So like this. Like that. He does that 3 or 4 times, and then on the last one he does this. Does that little bass riff. And that leads him into the kind of the turnaround. So he does this. Let me try it again. Just the whole next part. He doesn't do the chord. He just goes directly like that. And then, nice little bass turnaround. What he's doing open 6th string, then he's going to walk up 3rd, 4th fret, so the 6th string, and then 2nd fret of the 5th string, whoops, 4th fret of the 5th string, and then open 6th string, like that. And he wraps it up with the B 7th chord. If you don't know the B 7th, first finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, second finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, pinky on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. We get this. And so he does. And that takes us through the first verse of the song. The second verse, he starts this little bass run, which is really kind of cool. Let me play it through one time for you, and then we'll break it down. Last part he does. Whoops. I'll show you on the breakdown. So he starts out open 6, and then he hammers on. So he goes, and when he picks it, he hammers on his 2nd or 3rd finger onto the 4th fret of the 6th string. So it's like this. He does the same thing on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And then he does this, where he's going. So 2nd fret of the 5th string to the 4th fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, back to the 4th fret of the 5th string, and then open. Does the same thing again. When he goes to the 4, which is an A, he's playing over the A. He does the exact same thing that you did on the 6th and 5th strings. Now he's doing it on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And then coming up here to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 4th string. And then he does something a little different. He's going from the 2nd fret of the 4th string to the 4th fret of the 4th string, back, and then 4th fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string. So like this. And then back to the same riff. And then he wraps it up, going over the B. This is your 2nd position B, 2nd position bar chord B, starting on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 1st fret of the 4th string, 4th fret of the 4th string, 1st fret of the 3rd string, back to the 4th fret of the 4th string. So like this, like that. Then the A, open 5th string, 4th fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 4th fret of the 4th string, back to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So the whole thing so far. Then he goes back to that A, or the E turnaround. Like that. So with the B7th chord thrown in again. So that whole section, one more time. Like that. So there is the second verse. From here he goes into the first kind of lead verse of the song. Hang on, let me get a sip of coffee here. And now he's going to play down here on the neck, on the 5th, starting out on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And let me just play this whole part for you, and then we'll break it down. is a fairly simple part. He's starting, so he wraps up the previous verse, and he starts out on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, something like that, or like that. Then he goes, just stays on that 5th fret of the 2nd string. Trying to turn my reverb down a little bit, don't want it off completely. So let's do that again. So he starts out, he comes up to the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then stays on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Then he goes 3rd fret, 2nd string, to the 4th fret of the 3rd string, like that. Then he does a quick hit on the 9th chord. This is an E 9th. Got my first finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string, second finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string, that's my E. Then I flatten my ring finger out on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, 7th fret. And he does this real quick. It's like this. Just a very quick stroke. Then he does this again a little differently. So he starts out like that, stays on the 2nd string again. This time he slides from the F 9th, which is 1 fret above, into the E 9th. Very quickly, something like that. And he does it again. Then he wraps it up with some kind of B chord. I can't hear this exactly what he's doing. Sounds to me like he's making a long beat. You guys might be familiar with a long A chord, where you take your first finger, bar the top 4 strings at the 2nd fret, and then bring your pinky down to the 5th fret 1st string. Well, if you slide that up 2 frets, you've got a B. And you put your pinky on the 7th fret 1st string, and that's what we would call a long B chord. So he wraps it up. That's your turnaround. Whoops.